Good morning, Fremont County. Welcome to WyoToday Sports Live. Got Baylor Beers and Cody Beers in the studio, and Kevin Shields, he's on the road. He's over the phone today. But we're here to talk about some Fremont County sports. Kevin, how's it going in your hotel?
It's good. Ready to head back in from Evanston. As Willie Nelson wrote in 1980, on the road again. And now this is 16 games into the season, and Riverton has played one home game. But they have another one coming up on Thursday, but unfortunately they did lose last night. Girls lose by 12, boys lose by 7. Both kind of due to slow starts, a lack of energy, as Coach Sheets said, and Eric Smith, who we interviewed after the game, said just did not come off with the intensity and the energy they needed, especially defensively. Got behind. Both teams played with them in the second and third and fourth. Riverton able to cut the deficit. At one point in time in the fourth quarter, it got up to 24 points, and they were able to cut it down to 7. And as Bo Sheets properly summed up Baylor and Cody, he asked the team in the post-game interview, told us, hey, if y'all came off the bus with the same energy that you had in the fourth quarter, the result would be different. So they get a chance to get back out there on Thursday at home, Natrona County. Really want the students and fans to come out, the first home game, because we haven't played at home in forever. It's a Saturday. I know it's a little bit less of a crowd than a Friday night or a Thursday, but really need the crowd to come out because they got a home game against Natrona, and then we hit the road again to Casper on Saturday with Kelly Walsh.
Yeah, that's a tough part of the schedule, having to travel down to Evanston in the middle of the week. At least for the kids' sake, they have today off, I guess, from school, but yeah, that's a tough road trip, and then getting off a bus to play a game. That's always tough.
Yeah, and that's just how the quads roll, Baylor. The conferences are divided into quads. The quads you play a minimum, you play twice, and our quad is Jackson, Star Valley, Evanston, and us, whereas Rock Springs and Green River are in with Natrona and Kelly Walsh. So it does mean long bus rides. We've got one coming up on a Saturday against Star Valley. That's always a tough trip in a couple weeks. And it's especially a tough trip when you realize that those kids are coming down to play a game that'll last about an hour and a half, and they're going to be on the road a total of about 10 to 11 hours with stops.
Well, those scores from last night, of course, Evanston boys beat Riverton 59-52, and the Evanston girls beat Riverton 55-43. I tuned in to try to see what those final scores were on your stream, but I was out of Wind River last night, and Wyoming Indian boys beat Wind River 81-30. The girls, well, they matched them 81-33 over Wind River. Both of those games were midway through the third quarter, played with the running clock, and the Chiefs substituted at will. A lot of guys got a lot of varsity action last night. A lot of girls, a lot of varsity action. The other scores last night, Meeteetse beat St. Stephen's 62-50 in boys play, and in girls play, Meeteetse beat St. Stephen's 50-40. But the focus in Fremont County this weekend is on the Ron Thon wrestling tournament, and after day one of girls competition, a lot of teams in the house. Pinedale leads after day one with 121 points. Natrona County and Star Valley are tied for second. Green River is fourth. Evanston is fifth. Pinedale has 3 wrestlers in Friday's finals. And the way that this Ron Thon works now, the girls start on Thursday and then the boys start on Friday. The girls finish up on Friday. The boys finish up on Saturday. So a lot of teams in the house. Just our community is full. Lander is full. A lot of money being spent in restaurants. And just a tip of the hat to Max Mills of Riverton High School, Mark Lenhart, who's running the JV portion of this tournament. Just about every team in the state is here. It's the biggest non-state culminating event in the state of Wyoming, and it occurs right here in Fremont County.
Yeah, it's certainly something that's interesting.
Go ahead, Baylor.
Sorry, Kevin. It's certainly something interesting if you've never been, because sometimes it sneaks up and goes away before you even realize that it happened. But it's like in Riverton High School gym, there's like 15 matches going on at once. I mean, it's a pretty bizarre event to go to, and it's really interesting to watch.
Very entertaining. Of course, wrestling, the ultimate individual sport, but it's also a great team sport. And it's about you against your opponent. And you can't depend on anybody else. And, great football players come out of wrestling programs. And because they use similar skills, it's just a fantastic event. So if you get a chance, go up and take in the Ron-Thon this weekend. Had a buddy in Cody that wanted to come down to the Ron-Thon, and I know he wanted to stay at my house, but I was just like, well, I'm not going to be in town starting Saturday, but they're going to drive down for the day and take in the Ron-Thon because it's just absolutely one of the most entertaining events that you can find anywhere in the state of Wyoming, especially on the first weekend in February.
Well, like you were saying, Cody, it is the ultimate individual sport, but also a team sport. It dates back. It's the oldest sport that our high schools compete in. It dates back to, the very first level of Olympics back in Athens. It is man on man. It's physicality on physicality. Also, I know we're a sports show, but like you kind of mentioned, we can't underestimate the economic impact. And right now, how important that is with everything going on, especially, some of the things we've heard, places, businesses that usually will be packed with people on their way to go ski or go trap or go snowmobiling or what have you. They're reporting to us far less this year. So it's a nice little economic, injection in a time where it is sorely needed. All the hotels packed, like you said. Last year, I don't know about this year. I haven't checked. I know Sarah's going to be exploring that in the coming weeks, just what the economic impact was of the Ron-Thon. But last year, we heard there were teams staying in Thermopolis. It's just wherever you could find a hotel or a place to stay, you're staying. And, also the girls, in a very short order of time, if you think about it, just in the time that I've been here, the girls' tournament or portion of Ron-Thon and wrestling in general in Wyoming has absolutely exploded in popularity.
Yeah, it's a growing sport for sure on the girls' side, and it's fun to watch because these girls are mean. They get after it, and I just wanted to point out that if you're driving around, looking for a place to eat, one of the things you can do is pick up a copy of the program that A Labor of Love for Ranger Printers. In the back of that program is a list of all the restaurants and phone numbers, and you can call ahead and make orders. You can call ahead and get a seat, but take advantage of that program that was developed by Robert Stover and his crew here at Ranger Printers and the Ranger, because it's full of facts about the 4-time, 3-time, 2-time champions. And then it's also full, there's an empty bracket. You can follow your favorite bracket. And then, of course, the restaurant situation. Everybody's looking for a place to eat. And the restaurants in Riverton, Lander, the rest of Fremont County, even Hot Springs County are ready for you. So take a look at that program and enjoy your time while you're here. We hope you all feel welcome. And as I said yesterday on social media, welcome to Riverton. It's the Ron-Thon. And, I just wanted to say just a little bit about Ron. I got to know him back in the 90s. He was a guidance counselor at Riverton High School, longtime Riverton wrestling coach. Of course, he was a college wrestler down in Nebraska. But what a quality human being. And his family is still in the area. He was a college trustee. He was just an inspirational type leader in our community. And so there is a story in that program about Ron-Thon. This is a dream of his that he had throughout his life, to bring all wrestlers to Riverton to compete for the coveted Ron-Thon titles. And this weekend, they're doing it again.
Yeah, it almost
Well,
serves as like a
Go ahead.
cross class championship in a way, because they don't really, I don't think they wrestle in classifications at the Ronton, do they?
It's a true state champion type event where the strongest wrestler in each weight class, girls and boys, rises to the top. You know, it might be somebody from Cokeville. It might be somebody from Cheyenne. It's really the big guys versus the little guys, everybody versus everybody, the ultimate test of your wrestling prowess.
Yeah, it's a really cool event. Certainly unique coming in. Moving on here, I think just want to shout out the Riverton swimming team. They're down in Cheyenne this weekend at Cheyenne East for the Cheyenne Invitational. I was a swimmer because, like you said, you have to be really tough and mean to wrestle, and I was not mean. I was
you're
tough,
mean,
but
Baylor.
I was not mean.
Swimming is not a sport for wimps either. I mean, you've got to enjoy having chlorine eyes and water in your ears, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
hair falling out of your head.
it's a tough sport.
Oh yeah, when I was working with college basketball, we used to just be in awe of the swimmers, because even when we were doing 2-a-days, we'd get to the center and be all dark except for the pool. The swimmers we were just coming in like at 4:30 in the morning for our first of 2-a-days. Swimmers were already in the pool. When we left from the morning practice, the swimmers were still in the pool. When we got there for the afternoon, and when we left in the afternoon, they were still in the pool. It's just a non-stop practice and grind. And also want to mention that we do have some basketball still this week. While Cody and I get I'll say Cody gets a well-deserved weekend off. I don't know how well-deserved mine is. We do have some basketball tonight at 5:30 and 7 on KFCW. Lander traveling down to Pinedale with an important matchup. And Thermopolis is playing at Rocky Mountain tonight at 5:30 and 7 as well on KDNO. Of course, Lander will be on KFCW. And then the only basketball we have tomorrow is at 1:30 and 3. Thermopolis is traveling to Lovell, and of course that will be on KDNO. So great sports. And Cody, you mentioned, everybody visiting, checking out the Ranger Apprentice Guide. I want to give a personal shout out to Robert and the crew. They put together a great program, best yet, and we say that every year. It's always the best one we've ever done. We've done one for now 3 or 4 years. And it's a great product. And if you're local and thinking about going out to a restaurant, maybe do like my dad said whenever there was an event in town. Maybe instead of going at 5:30 or 6, go at 4 and try to get a table, because those restaurants will be packed, and it's greatly needed, and we appreciate everybody coming into town. And, of course, championship for the girls today. No, we've got 3 people going to be over there covering it, and then, of course, the boys' championships will be tomorrow.
Well, and then the other sporting event that'll happen tomorrow, and it's the border war down in Laramie, Wyoming, and CSU, and you can always throw out the records, throw out what's happened. Both teams struggled a little bit this year in the bottom half of the Mountain West, but some rebuild is happening in Laramie. A lot of people, of course, follow the Wyoming Cowboys, and it's a chance to throw the records aside and go in and settle that border war, as CSU's leaving the Mountain West after this year, and so it gives Wyoming another shot, but on the basketball court. So that one will be on KWYW tomorrow night at 7:30. I believe the pregame starts about 7 p.m. But again, the border war, and it's an odd weekend in basketball when you do high school basketball broadcasting, because like Wyoming Indian, they've got the weekend off. Riverton with the weekend off. Lander just one game. It's kind of that mid part of the conference season when teams get ready for the final push into the end of the season and regional tournaments. So I know I was talking to Craig Ferris last night after the boys game, and he just said, we're tired. We've been on the road for 2 months. We've had 2 home games. They'll have a home game this coming Thursday against Shoshone out at Ethity. That'll be a fun one. The Wranglers, very improved squad, and the Chiefs and Lady Chiefs will be hosting Shoshone, and then back on the road next Saturday as they head up to Rocky Mountain. But it is that time of year when you start thinking, man, we're in February, we're in the home stretch, and the 2A, 1A state tournament is coming up that first week of March, and wow, the winters went by. We've had January's in the rearview mirror, just almost, and so it's time to start thinking about the postseason.
Well, and the interesting part with Riverton, the boys sitting at 7-9, girls sitting at 3-13. But specifically, want to highlight on the boys' side. One thing I've noticed, we got to watch a lot of different 4A teams, especially from the east down in like Cheyenne for that tournament. They were also at the Classic in Casper, which was in place of the Stranigan this year. Is that anybody, it seems, in 4A can lose to anybody else in 4A this year, but can also absolutely dominate anybody in 4A. So the regionals and state is going to be interesting, because no team really in 4A thus far has really shown the ability to put 3 or 4 games back to back to back to back with the same level of intensity. And whoever figures that out in the next 30 days or so is going to do really well at the regional and have a really good chance to bring home the hardware in Casper this year.
Did want to bring this up this morning as Kevin kind of backsided me last week, but if you saw the press conference for new Buffalo Bills coach yesterday, you also saw Josh Allen come in a walking boot and crutches. He actually played the last 3 games of the season, Kevin, with a broken foot, and kept it quiet. Played out the season. You could tell that he wasn't as mobile down the stretch, but now with Joe Brady as head coach, the Bills kind of going through a little turmoil, but sometimes it's not a bad thing. And I just want to point that out that it's easy to be critical when you're sitting on the outside looking in Riverton, Wyoming, but the guy played the last 3 games of the season with a broken foot, and they were close. One play possibly away from playing for it all. And, he hasn't won the big one yet, but and no excuses here, but you got to admire the guy for playing hurt.
Joe Brady's an interesting hire, too, of course. I'm familiar with him when he was at LSU. Of course, he mentored Joe Burrow, kind of made him when Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State as a guy who probably wasn't going to see the field at Ohio State, as odd as that is to say, as how good Joe Burrow's college career ended, transferred to LSU with Brady as his OC, and became put together that final year, his senior year, put together, along with the rest of the LSU team, one of the greatest years we've ever seen in college football, running the table and things of that nature. Unfortunately for Brady, it's a weird vibe too, because if you were going to fire Sean McDermott, I don't think anybody thought they would promote Joe Brady. I think he's definitely worried. I think he's an offensive mastermind. But it is kind of weird that you fired a guy and then promoted one of his assistants instead of going outside. That's kind of weird, but, it is the NFL, and as they say, NFL stands for not for long. And when you make as much money as both college coaches and pro coaches make nowadays, especially those 2 levels, the demand to win and win quick, it's gone from the days, Cody, when you and I were younger, and even Baylor when you were younger, where a coach could come in and, he's going to have a 5 to 7 year plan to rebuild a program or an organization in the NFL. They expect you to win and win very, very quickly. The pressure is immense. And I'm interested to see what Joe Brady does, because like I say, he's an offensive mastermind. Don't know how he'll be as a head coach, but the NFL's been all about hiring former OCs. Todd Monken, OC at Baltimore, OC at Georgia when we won back-to-back. He's at Cleveland now, and, of course, that's caused all sorts of waves because of a certain ESPN commentator saying, if you're Shedeur Sanders, why would you ever listen to your head coach? Which was unique.
I love how you use the word we. We.
That's what we do in the South, man. It's my alma mater. You're allowed to use it with Wyoming too. And you mentioned Pokes basketball. To me, Pokes need to get back to the success they were having early on. It's a fun team to watch. They moved with great speed and urgency and pace. And like you said, they've reached some struggles, but plenty of time to get back on top of things and get ready to lead into the Mountain West tournament, which I'm not 100% sure. But Cody, you've been. I'm assuming it's in Las Vegas again.
Oh yeah, the Thomas and Mack.
It's always in home field for UNLV.
For UNLV, always a home thing. But Vegas in March, weather-wise, can be a little bit of a reprieve. Of course, that was one of the weirdest things. I have never been to a game down here in Evanston where I could see not just grass peeking through the snow. I usually can't see that even, much less just mostly grass. I mean, the winter has just been really, really weird, which has made our travel a little bit easier, but this is the first time we've ever done 15 to 16 games on the road. And Cody, I know you've been at home twice, so it's been a weird season. It's a grind, definitely, but some good things. I think Thermopolis on our air is they're number one right now. Them and Wyoming Indian have kind of flip-flopped in people's minds, and that's going to be a great potential matchup when we get to state and regionals and things of that nature. Riverton boys, like I said, anybody in 4A can beat anybody. And even though we don't have someone from the Lander broadcast, Lander Valley having a pretty darn good season across the board. In fact, just FYI, you'll be reading in the Ranger, they've got 2 signings, not with the basketball team, but one of their football studs is going to be signing on, I do believe, the 9th, and one of their livestock judging girls is going to be signing on the 4th to compete at the next level.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't realize that there was. Well, I guess I did realize there was college meat judging, but I didn't realize that would come to a signing day. But that's really cool to hear that. You talk about Joe Brady as a OC. It's just you would think that their message being, "Oh, we want to change things up," and then they hire internally. That was also weird. But also just the fact that the coaches that were available this offseason. I mean, part of it hurt Buffalo because obviously they went to the divisional round, so they couldn't fire their coach till after the divisional round. And by that time, Harbaugh had signed somewhere, and the other decent coaches had pretty much been grabbed up by the other teams. But yeah, to hire within, I was kind of curious about that because the Broncos. I mean, we've dealt with several first time head coaches, post OCs, post DCs, and it hasn't worked out. So, and then we went to the tried and true Sean Payton. So obviously there's that. But yeah, just a crazy turnover in the NFL coaching wise. But
absolutely, I mean, there's a reason they call it Black Monday, the Monday after the season, and then it's just kept going through the playoffs. The big question is going to be: is Mike Tomlin, who's one of 3 total Steelers coaches all time, is he going to land somewhere? I don't think he will. He was down in Athens, Georgia, mainly he's not coming down. I'm not saying that. His daughter is a collegiate gymnast at Georgia, and I think he's going to probably take a year or 2 off because he's one of those, along with Harbaugh, outside of where he got fired from, he can probably name where he wants to go. I don't think he's going to go to like a Dallas Cowboys or he's going to go where an owner's a little more hands-off like the Rooney family had been for years.
Tomlin's going to work for a network. That's how I see that shaking out.
Oh, yeah, for a year at least. I think he will coach again. But I don't. I think he's going to take a year or 2 off, and we've seen that with some of the better coaches at all levels. Urban Meyer took a couple of years off between Florida and Ohio State, and we've seen that before, where guys. But now network guys are getting hired to be head coaches and to be like director of player personnel and stuff. I mean, Matt Ryan for the Falcons, hired by the Falcons. He played, obviously, quarterback, one of the best in the Atlanta Falcons history, if not the best. But he has no experience in the front office at all. He went straight to broadcasting, and now he's doing that. Phillip Rivers, who came back, and played 1 game, to help out an injury, has been interviewed for a head coach position, and he's only coached high school.
Buffalo Bills. Probably the biggest news yesterday, I thought, in the NFL, was that Vance Joseph is staying with the Broncos. And when you're the assistant coach of the year and interviewing all over the place, I think it hurt him a little bit that he was still coaching last week. But Vance is very pro Denver, and what a coup it is for the Broncos to keep the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. And then they promote their quarterbacks coach to OC yesterday, Davis Webb, who's outstanding coach, and he may get to do the play calling this year. At least that's kind of the hint coming out of Denver, is that Sean Payton may give up some of those responsibilities to this young and upcoming coach. And so, man, I like what I saw out of Denver yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think if you're Vance Joseph, you see that the Arizona Cardinals and the Las Vegas Raiders are the last two teams remaining. I mean, I might pull my hat out of the ring.
He's already done that once, right?
Yeah,
I might too, Baylor, especially considering, I know there's a lot of people who just don't like Pete Carroll dating back to his USC days, stuff like that. But Oakland, Al Davis, maybe rest in peace, may be gone and have been gone for a while from this planet. But his influence on how the Raiders operate, with firing coaches really quickly, it still is good and ongoing for the Raiders. So I think Vance Joseph can sit things out and kind of wait for a team to see. I mean, I was surprised to see Mike McCarthy get, just recycled. His time in Green Bay ended not great. And then, of course, his time in Dallas was, and, y'all have heard my rant on Dallas, and I blame Jerry Jones, but at the same time, Mike McCarthy's tenure in Jackson didn't make you think he'd be getting a job that quickly. But I know we are running tight on time, so real quick, again, 5:30 and 7, Lander versus Pinedale on KFCW tonight. Thermopolis versus Big Piney. That is not Big Piney, excuse me, got the wrong date, got next week's. But Lander is against Pinedale, Thermopolis, Rocky Mountain, same times, but on KDNO. And then tomorrow at 1:30 and 3 on KDNO, Thermopolis travels to Lovell. So join Kevin Gerber. He's the only one with a traditional schedule this week, as Lander only plays tonight. And, of course, Wyoming Indian and Riverton Dunn. And like Cody said, folks, get out there to Ronthon, support these kids. Get out there, even if it's just, you got your lunch hour, go out and support. The girls should be, a good bit of them, in their championship rounds about the time of lunchtime. So get out there, support them. Get out there, catch a basketball game at Wyoming Indian. It's absolutely epic out there. Get out, support Riverton on Wednesday. And I just want to thank Baylor and Cody for, holding down the fort today during the show, as well as yeah, I gave it to you on air. I know you probably didn't hear it, Cody, but congratulations are in order.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Yeah. To Baylor.
Yeah, you want to tell people why I'm congratulating you?
Well, yeah, I mean, why not? Our granddaughter's going to be born this weekend, and so my wife and I are heading towards Cheyenne. It's great to have a weekend off to go participate in a wonderful family event, and we're looking forward to meeting our sweet little Mabel Lou.
Oh, that's a great name. I also want to give a shout out real quick. I think she may be listening. My wife as of Monday. My wife has stuck with me for 24 years. So
Wow.
You'd think she'd be paroled by now, but nope. My cousin at our wedding said you can't keep her drugged forever, and evidently I'm doing a good job.
Well, congratulations.
Again, thank you guys, and a special shout out to Leanna Whitaker. We don't tell them, and Leanne Sanderson this year, and Declan Whitaker tonight. We know we don't. We thank them every game, but we don't thank them enough. It's our board ops are such an intricate part of it. Without them, nobody would ever hear us. So we just want to give a special thanks out to them as well. And Baylor, you're in studio, so why don't you sign us off?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, like you said, get out there, support youth athletics this weekend. If you're in the Riverton area, Fremont County area, go to the Ron-Thon, visit some local businesses. We love having you guys here in Riverton, Fremont County. Just such a great sporting weekend here for Wyoming High School athletics. But for Cody, Kevin, and Baylor, and myself, Baylor, we'll sign off. And we'll see you next week on WyoToday Sports Live.
All right, have a great weekend, guys.